Let me track off a little bit into something else here at the request of my daughter. And I will, full confession, I am not particularly well schooled in Greek history. And by particularly, I mean hardly at all. So my memory is having to read, uh, oh God, I can't remember the name of the author, but it was some part of a book in like ninth grade, maybe about Greek mythology. And I felt like a lot of the Greek history was kind of forced down our throat. And this is going to surprise my wife when I say this. I have a little bit of a contrarian streak in me, so I didn't really pick a lot of it up. My kids, however, have, and my daughter is a huge, huge fan of Athena. So I have to ask about this, or I will get yelled at by her, which I don't want to do. So if you could just tell us a little bit about Athena, who she was, kind of what her role was, and how she influenced Greek mythology.
Well, Athena is comes from a long line historically from the Near East and Egypt and other places of these strong warrior goddesses who become emblems of certain cities' strengths and protections. And of course, Athena becomes associated with her eponymous city, Athens in particular, but her cult and her worship is spread all over Greece. And I'm fascinated by this sort of bifurcation of women in actuality and women in mythology, in particular goddesses, and how that type of autonomy and strength and individuality that Athena has as a goddess is not necessarily what women would have had in the cities there. And so then how do you interpret this goddess Athena? Well, she is born from Zeus's head after he has an affair with the goddess Metis, whose name is wisdom. So embodied in Athena is this idea of cunning and intelligence. And she's born fully armed. You know, she's born with a helmet, a shield, and a spear. So she's ready to be a warrior goddess when she is born. But what she really more becomes is a protector of the traditional ways of life in a city, both for the young men and the young women. For she is connected with um, sort of advising and helping great heroes in Greek mythology. She's associated with Achilles, she's associated with Odysseus, but she's also associated with weaving and crafts and craftsmanship that the women of the city do. So, one of her best preserved temples in Athens, we have the Parthenon, but we have another temple down in the marketplace of Athens, which is dedicated to Hephaestus and Athena. And it's Athena Hephaestia, Athena who is in charge of handicrafts and handiworks. And she helps the women who actually weave the dress that she wears on her cult statue up on the big rock, the Acropolis of Athens, where her main temple, the Parthenon, is associated. So she's got a lot of things going on with her, and there's a lot of different ways that she's worshipped all across the Greek world. She has different kinds of connections, cult connections, in all sorts of different places. In Sparta, she's connected with bronze working in some way. So there are a lot of different associations that she takes on. But of course, we see her as a warrior goddess. She is one of the three who fight off the giants who were a great threat to the cosmic order. They were born from drops of blood from Uranus when they fell on Gaia, Earth, and they sprang up and they were challenging the Olympian gods. And she and Zeus and Heracles were the ones who really put them in their place. Although all the gods did the fighting, Athena really came to the fore there. And that's what's celebrated in Athens in their great festivals, is Athena fighting against these giants and actually preserving the universe to be what it is for the Athenians. So in many ways, she serves a socio-cultural sort of purpose in keeping the status quo. Men fighting, women doing the handiwork. And as a virgin goddess, she doesn't have to get involved in that whole business of having children and things like that.
Uh, well, she also had an owl associated with her. Is that right?
Yeah, and that sort of comes into the idea of wisdom, that owls are sort of a symbol of wisdom as well. And so the beautiful coins of Athens called the drachmas have a great depiction of an owl on it and then a head of Athena on the other side. It's just a beautiful depiction. So yes, she's often depicted with the owl.
And those of you who listen who are fans of Star Wars will recognize this because Ahsoka, one of my daughter's other favorite characters, also has an owl associated with her. So it reverberates today, yet another side quest, but it ties in nicely.